Guys, there are 4 quarterbacks on the board with a salary of $7K or more. So we got Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Russell Wilson. Jules, are you looking to spend up at QB in week 1? And if so, which of these guys makes the most sense to you?
No, I am not. Pass. I considered Kyler Murray for a moment in what should be a shootout against Tennessee. Titans went over in plenty of those home games, well over in a lot of them. So if I took one, it would be Murray. But then you look at his splits. He averaged 10 DraftKings points less per game on the road last season. 30 at home, 20 on the road. So I'm going to pass there in the season opener. I just think there's too many good spots to pay down. We have a surprise week 1 rookie quarterback, which we're going to talk about soon, who is extremely cheap. You can go down to 6,500, get exposure to the other side of that game, the home quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, $100 less. You can get Jalen Hurts, who's going to run the ball a lot. Sam Darnold, $5,000, revenge narrative going against a Jets secondary that nobody's in. I think there's just too much value to justify paying up for these guys, especially in week 1.
Gary, do you agree you're not trying to go over 7K here?
I don't agree, actually. I think a lot of people are going to look in 2 of the spots that Jules just mentioned. Jalen Hurts is probably going to be the chalkiest quarterback on this slate. I think Kyler Murray's in a fantastic spot. Julian mentioned his home-road splits. That's not the split you want to be looking at with Kyler Murray. What you want to be looking at with Kyler Murray is, when was Kyler Murray healthy? That AC joint sprain that completely derailed his season, not just from a passing perspective, but also he was a much more tentative runner after that shoulder issue. The first 10 weeks of the season, Kyler Murray averaged 0.78 DraftKings fantasy points per dropback. That was by far the most in the NFL. He also had a low of 24.1 DraftKings points in that first 10-week span. When this guy's healthy, he is an absolute monster on DraftKings. And like Julian said, this is the second highest projected total game on the slate. It could even be higher than that because the Titans tend to not play defense very well, particularly in Tennessee. So I think this is a shootout. I think Kyler Murray is healthy. And this is the exact time you want to use a guy like this, especially if other people are going to be looking to play down.
All right, Reid, what do you think? Are you going with one of those 4 quarterbacks who are over 7K, or do you want to pay down?
Yeah, Julian. Haha. No, nice shirt, though. I like your shirt, Julian. That's the only thing you got going for you.
Thank you.
But no, I'm with Garion here with Kyler Murray. But if not him, I'm going to stick in the NFC West and go with Russ Wilson, right at 7K flat. Look, history doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes a little bit. And if you look at his week 1 starts over the last 3 years, Russell Wilson, 2 of those 3 have been away. So we don't worry about the home or away splits. Indy gave up 300-plus passing yards in 5 of their last 6 games. So you want to attack this defense. I don't think it's that scary, this Indianapolis secondary. And if you look at last year, week 1 for Russ Wilson, 31 of 35, 322 and 4 touchdowns against Atlanta in 2018. I know Julian's going to say that's 3 years ago.
It is.
298 passing yards, 3 touchdowns against Denver, in Denver. So you take a look at Russ Wilson when he has time to prepare. He does pretty good. So give me Russ Wilson, if not Kyler Murray above 7K.
Guys, one notable storyline this year is that a number of rookie and second-year quarterbacks are actually getting a chance to start. So, Jules, I know you want to talk about this, but Garion, we're going to start with you. Is there anyone out of that group that makes sense for week 1?
I mean, there's a lot of guys in tough matchups in this particular group. You obviously don't really want to use Tua against the Patriots. Even like Justin Herbert's not in an ideal spot. Look, I said Jalen Hurts is the chalk, and he's going to be the chalk at $6,400 against an Atlanta team that was just absolutely putrid against quarterbacks last season. Second most fantasy points per game to that position. Does that mean I'm not going to use Hurts at all? No. I'm a coward. Of course I'm going to get some of the chalk. Jalen Hurts is probably going to be incredible in this game. So I think he's in a fantastic smash spot. But again, this isn't something you consider on an island. You have to acknowledge that his ownership is going to be massive for week 1. So if you're looking to take down a millie, Jalen Hurts might not be the answer.
All right, Reid, what do you think?
Yeah, too bad this question, Jessie, wasn't who's in like their 15th year, because I definitely go with Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I digress. Zach Wilson, I mean, at $5,000, priced essentially as a backup quarterback, a guy who shouldn't be starting, he's going to get the start, and he gets a Carolina defense that wasn't great. Gave up 6 rushing touchdowns last year to quarterbacks. Not to say that Zach Wilson's just going to run all over the yard. That definitely is a plus for this young quarterback. And 2 of their DBs that they're going to be starting are going to be rookies. Their best cornerback in AJ Bouye is not going to be playing for Carolina. So this Carolina defense doesn't scare me. I think Zach Wilson, and we'll talk about some other guys a little bit later in the show, you can pair him up and get a starting quarterback who's going to get all of the run for $5,000.
All right, Jules, is this an area where the quarterback is that you want to pay down for?
Yeah, if you're going to pay $5,000 for Zach Wilson when you can pay $5,000 for Sam Darnold in the same game going against that Jets secondary, then you must be somebody that uses stats from 2018. Here's a guy that was eating Doritos in his dorm room in 2018, so I can't use those stats. But Mack Jones was not supposed to start, and now he's starting, and he's $4,400. There are other starters priced at $5,000, and there's guys that I think are worth playing. I don't think Zach Wilson's going to have an awful week. He should be playing from behind against a below-average secondary. So there is something to that. I just like Darnold much more going against that putrid Jets secondary with that revenge narrative, with his relationship with Robbie Anderson. But we can talk about all that later. We're talking about Mack Jones. I just think, is it going to be difficult against Miami making his first start? Yes, but we've gotten a lot of rave reviews. It was a huge surprise that he won that job outright over Cam Newton, at least right out of the gate. There's some tight ends there that Jones should be able to trust. Maybe they lean a little bit more on the running game, but that's fine. I think at $4,400, you have to at least give it a try in week 1.
All right, Reid, is there someone that you're just 100% fading this week, like someone that really stands out to you as a guy you don't want in your lineup?
Yeah, Garion mentioned it earlier, Justin Herbert. I think that when you go up against Washington defense that should be very stout very early, right? They're all healthy. That's going to be tough. I mean, there's 4 guys right below him that I'd rather play over Justin Herbert. He's at that price too, that $6,700. Like we've been talking about, you can go high GPPs, you can go low. Justin Herbert is in that price. And again, guys that are right below him, I'd rather play.
Jules, what do you think? Anyone you're just out of here on?
Yeah, I mean, Herbert honestly was one of the guys that I think I just can't get there. I see some regression coming this season, and I don't see a very good matchup. But honestly, we can just kind of lump the guys on the top of the board together. Like I said, if I play one, and I'm going to make multiple lineups, so I am going to have some Kyler Murray in that game. It's not like he's a fade, but like I probably won't play Mahomes against Cleveland. I might not even play any Josh Allen against Pittsburgh. So I just think the guys at the top of the board in general, even if you do want to pay up a little bit, those high salaries, you don't need them as much in week 1, especially at quarterback.
Garion, is there someone you're just totally fading this week?
Yeah, it's Mack Jones. I don't want a single piece of Mack Jones.
You Dolphins homer.
Oh, yeah, because you like Mack Jones because you're not a Patriots fan.
I like him because he's 4,400.
Great, 4,400. He could be 4x value on this slate. You're not winning a milli with 18 DraftKings points from your quarterback. It just doesn't matter sometimes with this value perception at the quarterback position. You need a guy to score 30 DraftKings points if you're going to take down a milli contest. Mack Jones is not going to do that against this Dolphins defense. The strength of this team is its secondary. It's spent more money on the secondary than any other team in all of football. Also, there's this really popular narrative. I'm sure, Julian, you've heard of it. You don't play rookie quarterbacks against Bill Belichick. They always struggle, blabbity, blabbity, blah. Who was helping him design that defense for the last 15 years? Oh, yeah, Brian Flores, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Look, I think this game screams like 21-17, something in that territory. There's just not enough points on the table for Mack Jones to make a serious impact. Cool, if you want to win $15 on your $10 investment, play Mack Jones. Get 3.5x value, but the Patriots are going to run the ball 60% of the time. This is a low-scoring game. I want no part of this guy.
All right, real quick, guys. It is slate approved pick time. Who is your favorite quarterback play on the week 1 slate? Who we going with, Jules?
I'm going with Sam Darnold. I didn't think I would get here, but I'm getting here. He's $5,000. I've pretty much mentioned it all. Revenge narrative against the Jets. The Jets secondary, they have nobody that's higher than a 5th-round pick, I believe, in that entire secondary. They're not good. Darnold has connections with guys like Robbie Anderson from his days with the Jets. That duo, that stack, is going to catch a bomb touchdown in this game. There are other talented pass catchers on the Carolina Panthers as well. I'm going Sam Darnold here.
All right, Gary, real quick, slate approved pick time.
Just going to go with Kyler Murray. I know Tennessee overhauled their secondary, but I'm not actually sure they made any real improvements there. I think Murray has a huge one.
Slate approved, Reid.
Russ Wilson, not scared of that Indy secondary or defense at all.